We will begin our program on time because inclusion respects time. Before we start, may I draw your attention to our accessibility features for today's session. We have Indian Sign Language Interpretation ISL available throughout. A heartfelt thank you to our IHCL interpreter, Teacher Benedicta Mirinda, for her presence and valuable time today. Live subtitles are being streamed through MS Teams. Our venue accessible protocols from navigation support to sitting arrangements are placed to ensure seamless participation for all. These features are not odd ones. They are the spirit of disability inclusion in action. As someone who also identifies as a person with disability, I want to say this with pride. It is moments like this that transforms a job into a true career and a workplace into a second home. Today, it's not just a program. It is a profound milestone. It is a moment when classroom dreams, hospitality careers, and community aspirations finally meet on a common platform. This is IHCL commitment becoming real, becoming visible, and becoming actionable. It is the practical translation of our values into life-changing opportunities for our colleagues and the community. And it fills my heart to see so many leaders, colleagues, and teachers, families, partners to come together with one shared purpose to ensure that every person, regardless of disability, has a pathway from classroom to career as we break barriers. With great respect, I extend a warm welcome to representatives from Office of the State Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities, Department of Empowerment for Persons with Disabilities, our partners from Sanjay Center for Special Education, panelists, teachers, parents, and students, the distinguished faculty from Goa Institute of Management, Center for Social Sensitivity and Action, our co-leaders for today's dialogue, and IHCL leadership present with us in person and across locations, and every colleague who contributes daily to building an inclusive IHCL. Thank you for being here. This framework and accomplishment you are about to hear are not just internal goals. They are a response to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for reduced inequalities and decent work, positioning IHCL not just as an Indian leader, but as a global hospitality benchmark for true inclusion. PATYA, IHCL commitment to lead with purpose, where inclusion, sustainability, and community impact are not projects, they are culture. ABLE frameworks, a structured approach to disability inclusion, attract plus retain, belonging, learning, engagement. Everything you will hear today connects back to these two anchors. Before we open fireside conversation, let's acknowledge the incredible work done over the past months. This is a collective win. Culture building. We strengthened our foundation for disability inclusion across IHCL Goa. Mr. Ranjit Philippos, a senior vice president of Operations Goa IHCL, at the recent Purple Fest, showcased collective advocacy through the State Commissioners All India Meet, setting a gold standard for inclusion with IHCL's inspiring corporate story at Purple Pragati. The deployment of the accessible VIP lounge and the adoption of specialized Neiman's model for psychosocial talent integration. A dedicated consultant, Mr. Vaibhav, was onboarded as we deepen our understanding of neurodiversity. We allied our program and policy, and today one PwD is already aligned to Golden Thresh program pathway. We sensitize 6 general managers and 25 HODs through neurodiversity. One not one building leadership confidence to leverage neurodiversity strengthens. Our talk time conversation series generated plus 27 plus insights that shaped our 4 new programs. And during Deaf Week, IHCL Goa anchored access to all, elevating awareness across program properties. Skill building and pipeline. The industry pre-internship pilot assessment with Sanjay School was completed on 29 November. A first of its kind initiative between Sanjay Center for Special Education School and hospitality sector. Brand amplification and community inclusion. At the very first Able Connect, we brought together all persons with disability associates for a powerful focus group discussion on 10th November. And we deepened community connections with National Association of Blind and New Dawn Ashadeep inspiring inclusion beyond our workplaces. On Children's Day, 14th November, IHCL teams visited the Lok Vishwas Pratishthan Special Education School, Kankonkar branch on International Purple Fest. Ambassador 2025, Ms. Sandhya Bandurkar, seated amongst us today, is now being supported in her livelihood journey with periodic pop-up stalls at our properties. Workshops series hosted 3 high-impact workshops: sensitization on neurodiversity, sensitization on deaf inclusion and hospitality, understanding accessibility beyond ramps and screens. To ensure inclusion is not temporary but structural, we also strengthened systems. The infrastructure audit scan completed on 26 August, which provided a detailed back of the house accessibility gaps and solutions. The digital accessibility rapid scan was completed on 5th November. Purple Fest preparations, logistic support, 250 lunch boxes plus snacks for PwDs across 4 days. Human pop-up planned for Purple Fest 2025. Deployment of 4 beach wheelchairs. Room allocations with special provisions for delegates with disabilities. Over 10 hospitality roles mapped for real job pathways. This body of work, from new policies and job pathways to structural accessibility, demonstrates our unwavering commitment to making IHCL Goa a true leader in inclusive excellence. Now let's open the conversation. On that note, it is my privilege to invite our first message. We will now play a special video address from Shri Taha Saki, Secretary Office of the State Commissioner for Persons with Disability.
Hi everybody, I am Taha Hazik. I am the Secretary, Office of the State Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities, Government of Goa. Very happy to be here. Yes, not live, I understand, but on video. This year's theme of the International Disability Day says many things. It says fostering disability, going towards creating inclusive societies. It's a very broad theme. And I'm extremely happy that the way IHCL is been going about in fostering and creating both, right from creating a dignified persons with disabilities towards making them empowered to be an integral part of an inclusive society. When we go back and see multiple years before, there was a notion that persons with disabilities would have limited capacities. या ऐसा होता था कि भाई if I am a person with blindness or I am a person on wheelchair, there would be certain limited things which had been used as a profession, or rather they would take it as a profession. But times are, we all are aware that the way technology is going up, right from the basic technology of a wheelchair to the high-end technologies which is being based upon the artificial intelligence, is huge. If I talk about myself, I am a person with visual impairment 100%, but I know it is the technology which has taken us ahead. We can use the laptops, we can use the phones, we can use the same spreadsheets, we can use the same PPTs, we can do programming, we can do software development. It all is possible. When I see the work of the Disability Commission and the Department of Disabilities, Government of Goa, somewhere the mission is very similar to what this year the Disability Day has, that we need to go ahead and create the inclusive society. We need to foster disabilities. When I say the dream of our Honorable CM, which exactly is the same, it says Inclusive Goa. And really extremely happy that IHCL is going on the same way. The whole Taj group in Goa. It may be in regards to employment, it may be in regards to creating physical infrastructure, it may be in regards to creating their digital infrastructure. The commitment is very clear that they don't want to have anything which is called as exclusion. When I was speaking to the authorities, and very happy to know that more than 25 people have already been employed and more 20 are still in pipeline. There are drives which are specifically now taken to ensure that the digital accessibility of the whole property becomes inclusive, becomes as per the international guidelines which is called as WCAG, that's Web Consortium Accessible Guidelines. The same thing happens with your physical infrastructure. The same thing is happening with the complete staff. The staff is getting sensitized. There are people who are catering to persons with disabilities by offering them not sympathy but enough of empathy and dignity as a guest, not as a person with disability. I am really happy that various projects have been taken up, various initiatives have been planned to ensure the platform of IHCL becoming beacon of inclusion, a model of creating that dignified, empowered persons with disability. And I'm sure that the partnership between the Disability Commission, the IHCL, schools such as Sanjay Center for Special Education, Goa Institute of Management, and other special schools and NGOs will actually take us forward and ensure inclusion just every corner, and inclusion which will be in our thought processes, not as a formality. And I really am eager to see the envisaged projects of IHCL coming true, and we'll be very happy to take this model ahead to ensure that we all create that niche of fostering disabilities and creating inclusive society. Thank you. God bless you all.
Over the 45 minutes, we will uncover how classroom transition into careers, how systems break barriers, how families, educators, employers, and technologists co-create futures. We request all leaders here and across India to stay curious, stay engaged, and participate by sharing your reflection on chat or after the session. Your voice shapes the roadmap. Thank you, Shri Taha Zaki, for that inspiring message and for your guidance to all of us. I would like to request Mr. Hemant Jaiswal, our Area Directors of Human Resource Goa IHCL, to come forward and articulate the strategic roadmap that will cement this industry first collaboration.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia. A warm welcome to everybody, and thank you, the dignitaries who have accepted coming and participating in today's Fire Chat. So just wanted to take you through our what we at IHCL, have in mind and how it began. And I was talking to Shyam, and that's where, at IHCL we decided that, okay, we will have 2% of our population headcount to be PwD. So, hotels started recruiting, hiring PwDs, and we have sufficient number of people with disability adults, PwD adults in our ecosystem. But one of the meetings where my senior vice president, Mr. Ranjit Philippos, said he wanted to meet all the PwDs of Goa together. And in that meeting, when he started speaking, suddenly I realized that we are not able to communicate. We are not able to communicate with some of the participants, some of our employees, PwD employees sitting there. And that is where I realized that just hiring is not going to help. There is a barrier. There is a barrier which needs to be overcome. And we need to identify what are these barriers. And then work upon all such barriers and try to overcome. And that was also a time when we had Elrin approached us and working with us, and I told Elrin that, we need to work closely on this particular project and see how IHCL can be an inclusive leader in hospitality. So that is where the journey began, and then we started meeting different set of people. We met the Department for Empowerment, Office of State Commissioner, Mr. Pavaskar. We went to Sanjay School and understood that, yes, we have got a lot of interested adults, who would like to join this industry. But how do we make a path? How do we ensure, they join this industry? And for them also, it is important that they get familiarized. They know how this industry is, because from the guest point of view, from the hotel point of view, if you visit a lobby, everybody feels wow, what a place. People think, even we as a normal, we feel that, oh, this is a place I would like to work. But when you join a hotel industry and you work behind the curtains, you realize what kind of effort goes into, it's not easy to work in a hospitality industry. And when we are finding this difficulty, so how do we, people with disability, how do we ensure that, they don't face this? So all this thought went into, and then we said that why don't we start a program called as Classroom to Career. And that is somewhere with help of Sanjay School, we have designed a kind of a framework. And the first, I'm very happy to say that the first set of PwD adults have gone through this initiative. The initiative was that we identify the students from Sanjay School. The teachers have already seen how the hotel works, functions. They have visited the hotel. They have seen the operations of the hotel industry, and then they met the students and shortlisted, okay, these are the students who probably can join the hotel industry. Then the students were called to see how hotel functions for 3 days with help of a teacher. And after 3 days, then they were put on their own. And when the teachers were there, they came for 5 hours. They saw the operation, the teacher assisted them. And then next, another 4 days, we put them for individually without the help of a teacher. And now, we are happy that tomorrow we are going to start, they are going to start their internship for 3 months' time. And this is right now the number is 7, but we are happy that we have some students who are going to undergo the internship. They are 12th pass out. They will see how the industry works. They will themselves realize whether this is a place they want to make a career, they want to work. We will also come to know and understand whether they fit into our requirement or not. This is a 3-month course, 3 months internship, and then followed by, we will take them as an apprentice for 1 year, because hospitality training, actually, if you ask me, is a 3-year course. But we are trying to see that in 1 year, 3 months, 1 year, 6 months time frame, we make them ready so that they become employable in any hotel, hospitality, restaurant, or any such industry. That is our aim, to generate more and more employment for people with disability. So this is a program, this is something with the help of Sanjay School. We are doing it, and we hope, we have a good support from ma'am. And Tatu sir, unfortunately, he could not join us. But this is something, along with what other things we are doing, this is one of the initiatives IHCL is working on, and we are very hopeful that we will make progress in this. Obviously, we need help from Sham in Disha AI, met Ankur and heard his, what he's doing, tremendous, I'm very happy that, we would like to work with him. Goa Institute of Management, we have got in touch with them. We will work with them. We have Dr. Jorson also. So this is in short, this is how we would like to be an inclusive leader in hospitality industry. And it is a long journey. Goa is a pilot for us. We are doing this in Goa, and later on, maybe starting January or February, we would like to go to other states, cities, and implement similar kind of concepts. Changes in terms of cultural, structural, we are doing cultural sensitization of our people, that is more also important. It's very much important. We have started that sensitization program. We started from top. So first the general managers need to be sensitized. That session has already happened, and now we will go down up to the junior level and do the sensitization. Structural, we have done the audits of hotels so that, what are the changes we would like to do in the back of the house so that, it becomes an inclusive. That is also in pipeline. And I hope, I not hope, but I believe we would succeed in this.
Thank you, sir, for your guidance. Now, to take this forward, it is my honor to invite Srimati Nita Lamonkar, Secretary Sanjay Center for Special Education, to deliver her keynote address, setting the vision from an education community perspective. Ma'am, the stage is...
Esteemed guests present here, my dear students who are here, today I really feel very privileged to come here and celebrate this remarkable milestone of our students who are extraordinary individuals and who have shown determination with their hard work, perseverance and the right mindset to come here and secure a job. This is not just a job. Here, this job is with a difference. Looking at these students to uphold their confidence in the best way and come forward, it's just not an ordinary thing for us. At Sanjay Center, we are very delighted. My gratitude to the IHCL who showed interest with multiple meetings, coming to the school, understanding the ideas, understanding the mindset of the students, what the management of Sanjay Center requires, and to take this forward. I'm thankful to all the dignitaries from this IHCL who visited the Sanjay School to make this possible. Today I feel this particular achievement of our special students for securing employment is not just their personal triumph, but then it is a victory of inclusiveness and accessibility, which has been stressed by the RPWD Act. Government of India, long way back, made sure that specially abled individuals are empowered, and that is the reason there was a reservation for employment in the government sector, private sector also. Government of Goa has gone forward and established a department for empowering persons with disabilities, and today I am fortunate enough to be part of this gathering wherein the first set of our students who will be engaged in the work. My only request to the hotel management is that since this is the first time they are working or getting trained in this hospitality sector, I would request that our students should be treated in a very lenient way, and I'm confident that they will learn to the best and they will become and committed to the workforce of the society. They are nonetheless, they are the best. They inspire me every day when I'm working, because the dedication and the honesty which is seen from them is less seen otherwise. These pure souls, I will say, will do their best. My best wishes to all of you, and my gratitude to the hotel industry for arranging this program for us and also for helping our children getting employment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for this inspiring word. We now move on into our Fireside Chat, co-led by IHCL Goa and Goa Institute of Management Center for Social Sensitivity and Action, who have been core partners in designing frameworks, insights, and strategic direction. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jorson Fernandes. MBBS, Dr. Jorson Fernandes is MBBS, is a distinguished ENT surgeon, renowned trainer, and award-winning volunteer leader from Goa, a former chairman of the Junior and Youth Red Cross and founder chairman of St. John Ambulance Association, Goa. He has held leadership roles across Rotary International, Indian Medical Association, and Goa JCs. He has represented India at global forums, led international medical missions, and reached over 135,000 people through Rotary's COVID awareness initiatives, a Heritage Action Group vice chairman, and a nationally recognized healthcare hero, he's also an acclaimed trainer in medical safety and behavioral sciences. Proud family man, dynamic leader, and passionate community builder, presenting Rotarian Dr. Jorson Fernandes. Mr. Sham Ivatturi, CMO and co-founder of DishaAI.com, is an alumnus of IBM and Reva University and IIM Bangalore, with master's degree in marketing and business analytics, with 16 plus years of experience across global organizations, including HP Enterprises, CSC, DXC Technology, ING, and New York Life. He brings strong expertise in engineering, management, and strategic marketing. As co-founder of Disha AI, he has helped build an AI-driven career empowerment and skill mapping platform for mainstream and inclusive learners. Siam actively contributes to youth development in Goa, designing entrepreneurship programs with the skill development and collaborating with SSOCHAM Goa, GCCI, and Goa Technology Association. A passionate educator and industry speaker, he delivers sessions on AI, entrepreneurship, and multiple business domains, consistently working to bridge education, skills, and industry. Welcome, Mr. Sham. Next up, we have Mr. Ankur Kankonkar, is a co-founder of Incluseer, an entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and strategist working in the intersection of digital transformation and inclusive culture design. Despite losing his eyesight, in his early 20s, he went on to top his university in computer science and built 2 successful tech ventures, providing that barriers are meant to be broken. Through Enclictics, he supports organizations across India and the UAE with digital transformation, accessibility strategy, fractional CXO roles, and leadership workshops. At Incluseer, he leads a full-stack accessibility ecosystem powered by Inclusion, Inclubench, and Inclusturia, enabling organizations to scale inclusion through design and technology. A bold thinker with exceptional clarity and execution, Ankur is widely recognized for his contribution to accessibility, innovation, and inclusive growth. Welcome, Mr. Ankur. And our moderator and co-led for the Fireside is Dr. Aanchal Singh. Dr. Aanchal Singh is an assistant professor of finance and member of the Center for Social Sensitivity and Action at Goa Institute of Management. She holds a PhD in finance from Institute of Management, Nirma University, Ahmedabad. Her research works deal with ESG disclosures, sustainability reporting, CSR practices, and the impact on firm performance of organizations. She has published research articles in journals of national and international repute and has presented papers in numerous conferences. She also holds two patents issued by Indian Patent Office. Lastly, we also have a panel representative, Mr. Hemant Jaiswal, Area Director, Human Resources, Goa Indian Hotels Company Limited, lending crucial leadership perspectives to the conversation. Welcome to the panel, sir. Over to Dr. Aanchal now.
Okay. I hope I'm audible at the back. Works? Okay. So very good afternoon to one and all present here. As announced by our lovely anchor for the day, I am Dr. Aanchal Singh, Assistant Professor at Goa Institute of Management. I am also a member for the Center for Social Sensitivity and Action. Just a brief about this center and as to why I was chosen as the moderator for today's panel discussion that we are going to have. The Center for Social Sensitivity and Action was established in the year 2013 as a Center for Excellence by GIM, Goa Institute of Management. And we at the center essentially look at how the students, which is the management students at GIM, can give back to the community at large. That community could be either the self-help groups, could be the underprivileged section of the society, could be with the people with disabilities, so on and so forth. So barring the normal education and the courses that we provide to the students at our institute to make them sort of corporate ready, we also look at how the budding managers or how the future managers will play a role when it comes back to proving their ethical sidelines as well. So how will the corporate sector give back to the society at large, thereby fulfilling their CSR requirements as well. So we have an esteemed panel here available with us. We will take you through the journey of how they came across with their disabilities, the challenge that they faced, how did they go about overcoming those challenges, the challenges either faced at a personal level or at the societal level, how did they turn those challenges into successful careers or entrepreneurial goals. So in that case, I would like to start with Ankurji here. Ankurji, can you take us briefly through your story as to what exactly happened to you and how did you discover it?
Yeah, sure. Am I audible, everyone? Yeah. Hello? Okay, even before I go into my journey, I wish you all a very happy International Day of Persons with Disabilities, right? And also another thing, when I talk, I don't let the audience sleep, right? So I just have sound, I don't have video. So can you do a quick loud yes if you can all hear me? Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay, so I know that you're all awake. Good. Okay, so very quickly, taking you to my journey. I'm a Goan, born brought up in Goa. My name is Ankur Kankonkar, so I'm originally from Kankonkar, South Goa, currently residing in Fatorda. I was born sighted, had a pretty wonderful childhood, a lot of friends, a lot of family. Grew up in a countryside down south in Kankonkar. And I came for my studies here in Margao in South Goa for my higher secondary studies. So up to this point and up to the point where I joined a Bachelor of Pharmaceutical Sciences degree, a B Pharma degree in and around 2007, my story was following a proper, middle class career path where you get a good education, you get a good job, you settle down, you get married, you get kids, you see them getting old, and then finally you die. Yeah. I think the universe had a different plan for me, starting 2007. That is when my eyesight started degrading. Now, I suffer from a condition called retinitis pigmentosa, RP for short, which is a genetic degenerative eye condition and has no cure across the globe. A lot of research happening in this field, but no cure. So when I was studying in second year B Pharma, from being a 90-95% sighted person, I won't claim I was 100% because I had issues in dim light, even as a kid, right? Reading the board or reading stuff in dim light. But over a period of 6 to 9 months, my sight started deteriorating at such an alarming rate that I went from a sighted person to completely blind in about 12 months. That period was absolutely devastating. I went through a depression, I dropped out of college, and for a long time, I didn't really have a clue what to do with my life. Spent every day just concentrating on survival. And I had gone to a hospital called LV Prasad in Hyderabad, where they introduced me to something that was about to change my life, something called a screen reader. So it's a piece of technology that once you install into your laptop, your computer devices, or your phone, basically all your devices start talking. And you can control any of these devices just using touch, keyboard, or gestures. And a whole new kind of world opened up. Just using sound, people could do everything that a sighted person could do, right? Barring a few things. I started using the internet, using my computer again, just using sound. And that's when I read a story of another blind guy called Karthik Sani, who became India's first blind student to study science, grade 12, and then go on to get a bachelor's and a master's degree from US in computer science. That story completely changed my life. So I said, I want to do something like this. Now, a complete journey of getting back into education started because I had to re-answer my 12th grade, this time as a blind person, taking the writer's help of a writer, so somebody else would write for you. I re-answered my 12th grade with computer science and mathematics. Then I struggled to get admission to a bachelor's degree in computer science. There were a lot of back and forth between the college, the university. Finally, the college agreed that, let's and I'm going to talk about these barriers as well going forward. But there was a lot of, doubts expressed and a lot of hesitation to give admission to a blind student. But finally, I managed to secure admission. 3 years of hard work from my side, from my teachers, from my friends, and this is what I say always, that I've had some great people around me, so I'm always grateful. With the help of these people, with the help of a little bit of technology, that is, my screen reader was allowed, when I was answering my papers, especially I was allowed to type out my exam papers. I got help from scribes and other things for my other papers. And back in 2017, I just did not get a Bachelor of Science degree, but with a 94.5%, I topped the entire university. So I am the first blind university topper of Goa, something that I never stop bragging about. Thanks so much. This is something I brag about everywhere I go, and I probably won't stop until I die. Yeah, so that's the highest academic achievement of my life. But why am I telling you this is because if you see, a small chance somewhere, someone took on me, and then, something magical happened. So I got a master's degree after that, and back in 2019, I started my company with a couple of other friends. So the company initially was based in Goa and started off only in web and software development, but slowly we grew. We got clients in India. Today we have an office in UAE, Dubai. We have clients across Europe, in US, etc., etc. And the clients are mostly in software development and data analytics. In 2025, I decided, why not start something in digital accessibility, because this is something that we do by default. Every application, every site, every platform that we design is inclusive and accessible by default. So we said, why not launch a brand that does only this? And that's how Incluseer, that's how you pronounce it, Incluseer as a brand was born. Incluseer is basically inclusion, and seer is someone who can see beyond sight. So we are not just here to see what your eyes can see, but what is visible beyond sight as well. So we help with digital accessibility inclusion. We did a rapid scan of IHCL website as well, and hopefully we can continue working with them over a longer period of time. So our mission at Incluseer is to make the digital world inclusive and accessible and usable for every person, irrespective of their ability or disability. I've been also awarded the Best Disabled Employer by the Government of Goa, a Young Achievers Award by Rotary, etc., which are just feathers in the cap. So I'm delighted to be here and part of this discussion, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. That's my journey in short. Thank you.
So that was actually a wonderful journey, and to be disabled and still score 94%, I did not do that, to be very honest. So I mean, I can absolutely relate to the challenges that you might have gone through. You said that you always had some sort of a support, either when you talk about from the academic perspective or at your home as well. So in that case, Dr. Jorson, can you please tell us the sort of challenges that you probably had to face as a parent to a person with disability?
First and foremost, let me thank IHCL for making this revolutionary move that has helped in inclusion that we have been trying for such a long time. I remember the time that my son, who was a case of Down syndrome, was admitted in our Sanjay Center for Special Education at Kurshare. There were issues of the school. One was that we did not have the Goa board recognizing the school. So we had to go through the Rehabilitation Council of India, get the recognition done. That was the first thing that we did. The second thing was, at that moment of time, we had Pavaskar, who is now the Disability Commissioner, who gave us all the freedom. Although I was a PTA chairman of Kushar, and he said, Doctor, you need to go ahead with this and get it done. So we got that done. The next was to put a noose around the neck of the Goa Board of Secondary and Higher Secondary Education. We had another good friend there whom we had to sensitize. So every time that I went as a parent, it was nothing but telling them that, yes, you need to do it, and we had to sensitize them. And that's how we got the Goa Board of Secondary and Higher Secondary Education recognizing the syllabus, the curriculum, and a degree that the children get today, whether it is SSC or the higher education, is all coming from our Goa Board and from our university. That was at that level. The third thing that we had was an issue where we did not have enough of teachers who were trained in special education. So that was another hitch, because there was no special education diploma, D.Ed or B.Ed in Goa at that moment of time. So I said, now what do we do? So again, I had to go to Pavaskar and I said, Doctor, you go ahead, start with the D.Ed. So we started D.Ed. I myself started teaching into the D.Ed curriculum because there was a syllabus partly to be covered up by ENT surgeon or a doctor, so I did that. From D.Ed, today I'm happy that the same move that I started earlier, he has gone to B.Ed now, and that's the only institute that gives us B.Ed in special education, headed by our Sanjay Center for Special Education. Then we had teachers who were roped into that, and they were all being trained. So today we don't have any teacher who is not trained in special education, because it's very pertinent for us to understand. Don't expect a special child to learn the way you teach. You have to teach them the way they learn. And what do I mean by this is because I remember in my son's school, they were teaching them addition and subtraction. And I told the teachers, why are you doing this? I said, go to the market. Everybody uses the calculator. They use the mobile. Teach them to use the mobile. Teach them to use the calculator. I said, no more teaching of all those bars and calculating how many bars are there, 2 plus 4 and comes to 6. So they stopped doing that. So a lot of changes that we had to bring into the school at that moment of time. We also realized with my son, one of the challenge was when it came to spelling of different topics and things like that, he gave up. He said, I don't want to do it. And then we were wondering, my wife is a psychology teacher. She also teaches French. And said, how do we break our head on this now? And then we realized that he used to put tins, all chocolate tins, and he used to play drums. The TV is going on, the music is going on, and he would play the drums. So we said, like, okay. I said, so much involved into it. My daughter, who is a dentist, she said, I'll get an iPad and I'll feed all the music. Let's see what he does. So we tried our own innovation. From there, today, he reads every song. He writes accordingly, copies it back again, catches the song back again, downloads it. His teacher is from Kalangut. So one day he's telling the teacher, I will write your address. She said, to write your own address, I have to teach you. Now you're going to write my address. Yes, I will write. Lona's one song is there, where Kalangut is there. So he wrote Kalangut, Bardes, Goa. That's it. And he started learning today, reading words from the music. So we don't have to teach them the way we want to teach, but we have to teach them the way they want to learn. And today he reads so much of it from everything that comes into the music system. We got him a drum set, and today, from the teens, he's on the drum. He played for the International Goa Day in Canada. He played for the Goa Day here. For the first time we had the Purple Anthem, the very first time we had the Purple Fest. He was on the drums when we played that particular anthem. And today, he's doing his last 5 notes, and we are trying to see if the Music School of London can give him those trials for his exams and whether he can graduate in the field of music. So that's where my son is. Thank you so much.
We do have a panel of people who are achieving high standards and high goals in life, and we also have parents of wards who are achieving, high standards and high goals in life. So in that case, Dr. Jorson, you were just discussing about the steps that you take or the initiatives that you have taken to make sure that the faculties, the teachers, as well as the students are at par with each other when it comes to providing them the education, especially in the context of a person with disability. What were the major barriers that you faced when you were in the implementation phase for such things?
At the implementation stage, the first thing was, like the way I said, it was sensitization. Second thing was there were many people who did not understand what I'm looking forward for, what are my goals. So I had to literally explain to them that I'm trying to achieve this. When we talk about employability, when we are talking about making them self-reliant, what do you mean by that self-reliant? Where do they go and work? What is that industry that's going to give them employability? So we started, they were earlier doing nothing but Rakis. From Rakis, we went to painting diyas. And then I had a big network through the Rotary Club, so I got myself engaged with every Rotarian in the whole of the district, right from Maharashtra to Karnataka. And the moment my Joshua would go, they would say, sir, we want to have a project with his school. And they would give us diyas, which the children would paint, and we would put them into the market. So from Rakis to diyas to puja kits today. And every person that we gave the family, we gave the puja kit, they always say, doctor, it's one thing very good. The wife runs after us, saying that you have to get cotton, you have to get camphor, you have to give matchbox, you have to get this, and you have to get oil, and you have to get honey. And these are the children who put all that in one simple box, giving everything. So what the husband has to do is just sit down and do his puja. Everything is in the box, even right from your Aarti book. So this is how we engage the children and started marketing things. The second thing that we did was I had a partner who was from US in Rotary Club of Fresno, Shirley Grace by name, and she had a son, Jeffrey by name, a child with disability. He was a cerebral palsy child. And she said, I'm going to give you wheelchairs and I want to do positively a project for Joshua. And she gave us a vocational training center where we have got a papad making plant, where we have got a chips making plant, where we have got paper plate, we have got leaf plate making plants, we have got sewing machine, where right from embroidery to everything else you can do on the sewing machine. We have got 2 mills that are there. We have got spiral binding machine, we have got lamination machine. Even for our Sanjay Center Special Education in Porvorim, the laminated name cards for the students are being done in Kurshore. That's the beauty of the children. The clerk does all the name and they do the lamination and supply it back again. So that's the type of a thing that we did. Then we wanted to start a shop. But doing all this, what I found was the teachers were saying, Doctor, how do we go? Having been a faculty at the DED, it gave me a little bit of an impetus and a positive side of it to look into it. What are those lacunae that I need to feel as a parent for my teachers? And I think that was the beauty of the whole thing, that we could engage the teachers looking into the perspective of the children, making them employable in the industry or even for cottage industry for that matter. And those were the challenges that I had.
Great, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we have, as of now, looked at how Ankurji went about his life, the journey that he shared with us versus Dr. Johnson's perspective as an advocate who has a son who has certain special abilities, is a person with disabilities. And he also told us and showed us how, as a teacher, the sort of role that the faculty mentors can play in the life of people with disabilities. In that case, Shyamji, can you share us the story of how you came up with this idea of having a platform that would sort of ease out the process for people with special abilities?
Hi. Hi all, good afternoon. I'll follow the footsteps of Ankur. Let's say hi once again. Hi all. Am I audible? Okay, great. See, I believe in one thing. There is no disability or, I can say like non-disability or something like that. Everybody is equal. That is what the inclusive actually came up into the picture. So in that case, who is going to meet what kind of skills? Everybody in this place is unique. But is there any system which will identify each individual's uniqueness? This is a very important, point to be pay attention. That is where we started working on this, where everybody has their own abilities. First, identify that, and then use the technology. The best way of using technologies, as Ankur also said, in LV Prasad Eye Hospital, he has got some kind of app which help him to understand and make him to sit now what he is. That app made him to study further and complete his graduation, and he achieved what he is now. So, but if that technology has helped him in such a way, can technology help people to understand their own abilities? In that case, can it helpful to industries, whether industries require a lot of set of people? So which child is meant for what? IHCL has a lot of requirements in-house. Likewise, any other industry also have. So each industry has its own requirement, and all the requirements has required many abilities. So that is one of the reasons which we have come across and built this AI-driven behavioral science algorithm-based platform, which is going to cater all the PwD, and that is going to be helpful to the industries as well. Not only IHCL, it will be helpful to many other industries as well. So that is the objective, where there is no, barrier and we are there to help them to understand the capabilities of incapable. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shyamji. So when we talk about barriers, so barriers are not only in terms of the technological things which might be there, how do you go about using a smartphone, since Dr. Jorson was also emphasizing on why are you teaching 2 plus 2 via those diagrams and via the basic calculations that we do. Why are you not engaging them more by using softwares or phones or laptops, tablets, so on and so forth. So in that case, if we continue with that discussion on the lines of the barriers, there would be other barriers that you would have faced when you sort of transitioned from a student into a more mainstream career. So Ankurji, can you please throw light on those barriers?
Yeah, sure. So, if you talk about barriers, even as a student, I'll first tell you what are the different barriers that existed for me as a student, and then what barriers existed when I transitioned from a student to a professional and an entrepreneur today, and what barriers other people who are working in certain organizations face, right? So we classify these barriers into 3 broad categories. So these are like attitudinal barriers, physical ones, and digital ones, right? So the first one that any person with disability is going to face are the attitudinal barriers. Like, for example, I'll tell you, when I was studying or when I was trying to get admission into college, the question that was asked is, he's a blind guy, what can he do? Right? ये तो आदमी देख नहीं सकता, वो तेरे पढ़ पा सकता, वो कितने कर पा सकता, what can he do? Right? That's the attitude of people. And I don't blame them because they have never seen, other examples of people with disabilities in the society, etc., for whatever reasons. I mean, it's a debate in itself, so let's not go there. But the first barrier is the attitudinal one. That is, rather than treating persons with disabilities for the disability part, look at them as people first. Forget the disability, just look at them as people. Because if you see my, case, with a small tweak, with a small accommodation, right? So the barrier in my case was, I don't have sight, so how is he going to study? Right? So I replaced the interface of sight with the interface of sound. That was a modification that was done for me, right? So I was allowed to use my screen reader to answer my exam papers. I was given a writer to answer my other papers like physics and mathematics, which I could not do with a keyboard and a writer, because there you need different kind of skill set. So these modifications were done for me by the institution, by the university, when they felt that yes, our current system does not work for someone with a person with disability. And that attitude, once it's changed, that we want to help this person. And here the word is empathy and not sympathy. I think Dr. Jorson also touched on this, and a few other speakers before me have also touched on this, is we need to take a look at things in empathy and not sympathy. Empathy is basically putting yourself in the other person's shoes, right? And understanding the situation. That is when the attitudinal barriers can be broken. Again, in workplace, a lot of times we feel, okay, he's a person with disability. How are we going to employ him? How is it even possible for a person who can't hear to work? For a person who can't, who's using a wheelchair? How are we going to make our workplace, accessible? So it starts with that discussion, that how, and not you say, we simply can't. Right? So you reverse the question, and that's how you can break attitudinal barriers. Physical and digital can be broken after you break the attitudinal barriers. So physical ones would be, where a workplace, if I'm on a wheelchair, am I able to get to my workplace or not? Or are there barriers blocking my space? Okay. Physical could also mean, if I'm on a wheelchair, for example, are there proper ramps? Are there proper elevators? Can I move, to places independently using my own, ability, using my own dignity and not taking someone's help, right? So those would be physical barriers, which come much later after you break the attitudinal ones. And the digital ones are, for example, like the ones that I've already touched upon. Let's say you have an online program and I have to apply for it. Can I use your website? Can I use your application? Are your, digital technologies designed in such a way that anyone, irrespective of their impairment, whether that's visual or physical, motor, or a neurodiverse individual, are you welcoming to everyone? Are you thinking about these individuals not just as persons with disabilities, but as consumers of your own products or services, as your customers? Only then I think change can happen. So these were some of the barriers that I faced as a student, and as an employer today. there are certain other kinds of barriers which are all psychological, which are more, what do you say, technology related, can be solved using technology. We do have a lot of meetings with our clients that are all online. So online platforms like Zoom, Google Meet have broken that sort of barriers for us, where you don't have to be in person to go for a meeting, right? And assistive technologies like, there are white canes that vibrate. There are a lot of other devices like refreshable braille, like magnifiers that allow, person with low vision to see on screens. Similarly, there would be a lot of assistive technology in other related disabilities. See, I'm not an expert on all disabilities, but I can only speak about visual impairment and sight impairment. So there is a solution for every barrier that exists out there, but we should be prepared first in our mind, right, to break those barriers. Only then the barriers can be broken.
So you have sort of focused more on the infrastructural requirements or the infrastructural barriers which exist, maybe in terms of the movement of people with either eyesight issues or hearing impairments, so on and so forth. And then you also talked about the tech-related barriers, since a lot of focus now has shifted with the integration of generative AI and AI-related technologies in mainstream educational institutions or in mainstream careers. In that case, Shyamji, can you probably focus more on how Disha AI is trying to take care of those technological barriers that might exist?
Can you pardon once again? Yeah.
So I was asking, can you focus on how Disha AI is focusing on the technological barriers, and what are the steps that you are taking to overcome those barriers to a certain extent?
Of course, there are many technological barriers because what we are building is not exist. There is no one has done as of now. When we are pioneering one thing new, there are a lot of barriers which have come across, but with our expertise, we are working closely on ground now. We are at the budding stage. We are traveling with each individual. It is not something like an YouTube where it has its own profile building algorithm which will work and make a kind of recommendations. They also had a kind of barriers earlier, which because there was no such platform before YouTube has started, and likewise we are facing the same. But the barriers, it can be achievable, where we are meeting all the like-minded people and even the government, private organizations and the schools and the parents. Everybody is getting bombarded with a lot of information on technology and the awareness as well. If you look at everybody's hand is having LLM. They don't know what does it work behind, but they use it in Meta AI, in your WhatsApp. How it is built, nobody knows. So now it becomes easy for us to make them to understand. When opposite person is understandable what we are trying to say, it becomes ease of our job. And there are no kind of scripted or the data which is already available in the market, where we can use plug and play and build the model and get the results, something like that. So we have to do everything from the scratch and build our own model. So for that, I could say we are currently at the budding stage. It will take quite some time. Sometimes in the sense, if I have 1 lakh people, then it will be very easy. If it is limited people, limited resource, limited funds, then it will take some time to build and all. So now we are focusing, beyond the barriers, I could say, currently. Thank you.
So I would like to add, when you spoke on technological barrier, and this is something when I met Ankur first time. And I realized that, when we were working at IHCL on different barriers, we did not touch upon and think about technological barrier. One is barrier and another is how we can use it to our advantage. And I learned that from him that small thing, very small thing, but matters. We, do a lot of activities in HR. We do some celebrations and then we make a video and share it with everybody. but we forget to add title. Such a small thing, but it made me realize that it is how important it is to have titles. So now, whatever videos we have will have a title is something we have taken the decision. Then next, he taught me that we have our websites, and I said, how do you manage your day? He said, other than any assistance required from going to one place to another, he can do everything on his own. I said, how do you do that? He said, this is my, mobile is my, hand and legs and everything. And he has got an app. He's also told me that he doesn't use Swiggy, but he prefers Zomato. I said, why? He said, Zomato has made accessible app. So he can order food of his taste, of his like, from a restaurant using Zomato, which is not possible in Swiggy. So I said, that means when today I am saying, or we are saying that IHCL wants to be an inclusive leader, this is also an area using technology, how we can overcome barrier. And last, one of the biggest barrier is, teaching sign language. So, we did that, at IHCL, we launched the sign language program. We ensured each and every employee goes through the sign language program. But what happens is, human being, if we don't use it, we forget. So I said, what is the alternative? Again, everybody has a mobile and there is an app. So, there is an alternative. Using your mobile, using an app, you can understand, you can read, you can, the person will speak and he will record it. The mobile will tell what the person has spoken, respond. So, technology, there are barriers, but it is to our advantage. And I believe, I have not interacted much with Shyam, but what Elrin told me, what Disha is doing, I think so, wonderful initiative using AI. I think so, a lot of technological barrier will be taken care of.
Yeah, I would like to continue with you in that case. So, Ankur ji has talked about the psychological barriers and the physical barriers to a certain extent. Shyam ji focused more on the technological aspects of it, wherein you also gave your 2 cents. There is another very important aspect which a lot of organizations do not take into consideration, especially when they are either hiring or making their organizations more inclusive for people with disabilities, the compliance aspect of it. So how do you as an organization look into the legal aspects of either the hiring or recruitment part of it, or having people working full-time here with special abilities?
So yes, legal compliance is mandatory, and if I'm not wrong, I think so it is 4% of the headcount has to be PwD adults. And that's the reason we have made that conscious call that we first start with 2% and then move into 4%. But as I mentioned, hiring, if you think, is a very easy task. You can recruit people, but the most important is mindset change. Okay, the mindset change of the able people, okay, mindset change of the current set of people working in the organization, acceptability, and the most important is sensitization. So legal compliance and everything can be worked out, it's not an issue. I don't see any problem, I don't see any issue. If I take the case of classroom to career program that we are thinking of, is towards this only, that we have more and more PwD adults employable, so that not only IHCL, but tomorrow, if every industry starts thinking, especially hospitality, if they start focusing on having PwD adults, they will have readily available set of people to join them. So legal compliance, yes, that framework has to be there. And I also feel that how the one part which is not covered, and maybe it will get covered. Every hotel has to do a star certification, whether it is a 5-star, 4-star, and in that the norm for having compliance related to PWD is only in guest area. It is not in back area. In heart of the house, we call heart of the house. I believe they should include that also as a norm, that heart of the house is also infrastructure-wise, readily accessible, rather than, then everybody will do it. So I believe that should happen maybe whenever the revision happens. It will help.
So I'll just touch upon this subject as well, okay, very close to my heart. So compliance so there is the Right for Persons with Disabilities Act that was passed in 2016, right? Which states that there are about 22, 23 disabilities recognized by the government of India under this act, right? And compliance not just goes into the infrastructure, that is the physical side, but it also goes into, like Hemant mentioned, into hiring, so that there is a quota there. But it also goes into physical and digital infrastructure that any organization has, right? So according to this act, Right for Persons with Disabilities Act, digital access is now a fundamental right, like right to education or right to living or right to shelter or whatever, right? Right to digital access is a fundamental right, and a lot of people don't know this. Sir, you mentioned Zomato, right? Zomato only made their app accessible because they got multiple fines. And in India, we only understand the language of fines very well, unfortunately. So I think the compliance is there so that people start acting on it, no doubt about that, right? So Tahaji in the video also spoke about Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, WCAG. This is the international standard for any digital platform that you build, rather a web or a mobile or a cloud-based platform. These are the guidelines that any designer has to follow so that it becomes usable by any person irrespective of ability or disability, right? Government websites have something called GIGW. This is the guideline for Indian government websites. And the Act, RPWD Act, is becoming more and more stringent. That means more and more people have started facing legal ramifications. This was very common in the US, where the ADA, the American with Disabilities Act, that was passed in 1996. And we all know Americans are very good at suing each other, right? There's a culture of suing there. This is gonna come to India as well under this act. So I'm really, really glad that IHCL is proactive and they have already taken that step in making, their physical infrastructure accessible. We are helping them understanding where the gaps are in terms of their digital infrastructure, and soon that will also become accessible. So accessibility going forward is not gonna be just a checklist or a norm, right? It's gonna be a default. And I love the commitment shown by IHCL in making that happen. So that was from the compliance side of things. But compliance, like in terms of your ESG or whatever, has to be done, no doubt about that. But as an organization, when you make your infrastructure accessible, you are also doing good business, and I'll tell you how. So let's say, Hemant, if I want to come and book your hotel from your website or an app, right now I can't do that. A lot of organizations don't look at persons with disabilities as customers. They don't.
True.
But there's an $8 trillion market waiting out there to be served. Do you know this? The international market is $8 trillion. These are persons with disabilities, their caregivers, their associates, etc., who are just starving out there and waiting for you to serve them. And Zomato just realized that, their user base went up by 5 or 10% after they made their app accessible. So you get a wider customer reach. Your SEO, that is search engine optimization, also improves if you make your platforms accessible. Your PR, your brand loyalty, your trust, everything goes up. So actually it is not just a sign of empathy or sympathy, it is good business. And that is why I think brands should be doing this. IHCL is already doing, which is wonderful.
Thank you so much, Ankurji, thank you so much, Hemantji. So coming back to Shyamji, can you sort of give us examples of which other assistive tools exist beyond what Ankurji was talking about that can probably help people with disabilities?
Sorry, I don't have that info currently. I came across a couple of, but I have not worked on. And if you ask me about the comparison, I mean, similar to what we are doing on that kind of platform, I can give that. Yeah.
Yes.
Similar to what Disha is doing, yes. And there is no such platform. Only Disha is working on that. Because nobody, as rightly Ankur said, nobody has paid attention. Nobody has seen it as a business. Nobody has seen it as a problem. Seen it as an empathy or sympathy, whatever. So they are working, okay. If you come, okay, we will serve. As Hemantji said, so initially they have hired, okay, quota is there, we have to hire, we will hire. But how to make that hired resource to be a productive resource? How can give them an accessibility of all the, levels of grades or the roles within the organization so that they can equally grow within the organization? What do you have any mechanism to understand the real abilities of them? Okay, if I nurture them on this particular area so that he can fit into particular role. So there are huge gap. Slowly people are awake now and government bodies are also really focusing on that, especially Goa board has really come up with, and Purple Fest is one of the testimonials for that, to pay attention from the entire world. So that is what no other system actually working on what we are trying to do. Because of this, all the reasons, and we are currently doing that, and definitely there is a breakthrough for it, and it is achievable.
Yes.
Thank you.
Coming back to you, Dr. Jorson, since Ankurji, Shyamji and Hemantji have sort of shed light on the sort of trends that are there when it comes to psychological barriers, technological barriers and other infrastructure related barriers, can you help us in understanding the evolving role of skill set that would be required by people with disabilities for having a successful career in any of the sectors or in any of the domains of their choice?
The first one that I would say is the biggest psychological barrier is the acceptance on the part of the parents when it comes to a disability. We have seen this in the schools. The moment you say that, okay, this child is got some disability, they do not accept it. There's a denial. Now that takes a pretty long time. At this Purple Fest, I had a gentleman by name Aniket Irkal, who has designed a software where at a very early stage you can do early identification. And that's something which is very important for all of us. Because if we have got early identification, then early intervention will come in. And if early intervention comes in, then the early education will start coming in. So he has designed this particular software. So from denial to acceptance to take those parents is very important. And I believe that the present status of the government of Goa schools, if you have a look at the private as well as the government sector, there will be umpteen number of children who have got disabilities, whether they are learning disabilities or any other disability that is gone undetected, and they become school dropouts because they need to have a special syllabus and a curriculum through which they can move in and make their career. What happens is, you are looking forward for something which is at a very high scale. You don't reach up to that scale, and then you become a school dropout in the 7th and the 8th standard, and with that, your whole career is being destroyed and ruined. So people yet have to understand, because there are stages, I should not have been saying this at this forum and on this platform, because the moment you speak to the parents and you say that that's a special school, that there are different types, they say that's a mental school. So that mental has to be withdrawn from there. It's the ability, and we need to celebrate abilities today. And that's what this platform is all about. Having said that, when we talk about safety, I still remember my son, we used to always teach him about the safe environment, safe behavior, and safe attitudes for the teachers too. And these three are a very important trigon for any teacher to take the student through. And that should also happen wherever they are made employable, because the three things are very important for us. The safe environment created by everybody who is working around with him, who has to be responsive rather than just being responsible. Two, you have to also look forward for that safe behavior that should come in from that safe attitude, because there are sometimes an alarm is being rung and you have got a hearing impaired child and he doesn't hear it. Now everybody runs for safety and the child is being lost down there. Or the employee is being left down there. So what could be the other methodologies in terms of technology that could be introduced? Could it be flashlights that could show? Or could it be sound for a visually impaired that could show? If somebody is with a multiple disability, could it be a personal vibratory tone on his mobile that could say that, yes, there is an alarm here, I have to go to a safe assembly point. So these are situations, I think, which will evolve out of this whole exercise. We are in a beginning stage, but I think a lot of people, like for example, when I went to United States and to France and to Canada, I have learned a lot of these things, and we need to implement that at the level when we are talking about compliances too. Right from bullying, which happens in every corporate sector, we need to have checking or checkmating that bullying doesn't happen with all adult PwDs who are working, one. Number two, when we are talking about burnout, it should not happen. So it's not only just merely the empathy, but the rules apply to everybody. You cannot take anybody else differently. So that is what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
So continuing with you only, Dr. Jorson, we have looked at one side of the coin wherein we are asking the organizations to be more sensitive and inclusive when you are either hiring or you already have employees with certain disabilities, right? On the flip side of it, when we look at a person, if say for instance, if I want to hire a person who has some special abilities, I also need to have to look at a certain skill set that the person might possess in order for that person to be employed either in my organization or across sector, across organization. So how has this level of skill set evolved with either the changes in technologies or the changes which are there either from the corporate sector or from the organizations at large?
Right. That's a very valid question that you have asked. I think the schools now will have to look not just merely at the syllabus and curriculum of what the Goa board provides, saying that the child comes in, the child learns about the activities of daily living, and then finishes off there, goes at a little bit upper scale, the syllabus completes the SCC, gets a certificate and moves off. After that, what next? That what next is going to haunt us all throughout our life. So if that's going to haunt us all throughout our life, then we have to see what are the skill sets that different employers would love to have from our students. Based on that, that development of the skill should happen into the schools. I'll come back to Joshua, my own son. We had just one music teacher in our Sanjay school. Then we had another one who was Edit down there. And he was into drumming, where the earlier one was teaching more of tablas and things like that. Then we had a third one that was coming in. When he went to the school and he showed a lot of interest into music, we wanted the music teacher to come almost every day because the skills would be slowly disseminating, not to that level, but slowly eroding out because he used to come only once in about 10 days or once in about 15 days. So we engaged him with a music teacher at home. And that's how he has escalated right to a higher level now. Today, the local hotels in and around South Goa wants to hire him for their dinner parties so that he plays the music along with the other children. And that is what we have told the music teacher now. Why don't you start your own band? So now he's starting a band where Joshua is going to be part of it. And we gave a trial round for this. His own teacher, Lara Pereira, when she was celebrating her 50th birthday, I told her, I said, my gift for your birthday is, my son plays for your birthday. And I said, we are not going to have only him and a recorded music, but we are going to have also the other musicians who are going to join in. Let's see how he does. She said, Jorson, that's the best gift that I can ever have. She put a stage, got everything done, and we got a guitarist. We got a person who was also playing the trumpet, somebody who was doing the keyboards, and he was on the drums, and he entertained the whole crowd on that particular birthday. And that was the humble beginning that we have had. If he could do that, not happening in the school, but in an outside environment, Now he's prepared for doing something beyond that. So the similar things were happening also in our Sanjay school. Our students were hired by the locals in and around Porvorim for feasts and for birthdays to play music. So it's only a matter where the parents are going to also put their foot in, because if we are inclusive doesn't mean, okay, IHCL and I leave my son to IHCL, you deal with him. No. What is my role as a parent? If I can make this whole society as a well-knit society, that is for me inclusiveness. It's not only just merely the management of IHCL, the parents together, the brothers, sisters, every person in the society, even when he enters the public bus transport and goes back home, that is what is called as inclusiveness. And to make it happen, I think we need to hold each other's hands together very firm
true.
and very tight, as much as IHCL is trying to hold it for all of us today.
Very true. So on what doctor said, same thoughts, when we came up with the idea of classroom to career, I said, we can give a platform, we can do, everything, but the schools is also supposed to, probably inculcate, initiate. So I'm very happy that, Sanjay school said that, yes, we can do that. And they said, we will include hospitality as a vocational course in their 11th and 12th. I said, that's good. So right from the 11th standard only, they at least know what is the hotel industry looks like, how hotel functions, maybe not at a very large scale, but smaller. We are also going to set up we are calling it Able Lab, which is a replica of a room, so that they will go see how the hotel rooms are, how to service a room, how to do a check-in at the front desk, how to do service in F&B. So all that thing we are going to do with help of Sanjay School and St. Xavier School. Set up a lab, include in a vocational course, then interested students, so they know whether they would want to go into this as a career and then join us from classroom to career.
I would like to ask the next question to you as well. So you have sort of shown the initiatives which IHCL has taken towards making their organizations more inclusive, especially when it comes to people with disabilities. But in that case, there would be certain skills that you as an employer would also look for. Because on one hand, when you are trying to make your organizations more inclusive, you cannot compromise on the customer service which you are rendering. So how do you strike a balance between customer satisfaction versus inclusivity at workplace?
So for that purpose, we did an exercise again with help of the teachers are sitting here, and they helped. Like I said, they first themselves came and saw the operation. Then they were in all these hotels for at least 10 to 12 days or more and studied each operation. Say for example, a housekeeper, when he goes to a room to make a bed or clean the room, so what all things from his department till going to the room and again coming back, they studied each and every step. And which type of disabled person, what type of disability, and what type of role that person can perform has been identified. So this is not then, going to hamper or come across as an issue. Yes, one thing is that if a PwD adult is cleaning a room and a guest walks in, he generally, a guest interacts with our colleagues. So if suppose he is a hearing impaired, then how will he communicate? So that is where probably technology is something we would like to, that person to use. We'll tell him that, use this with the guest. They will have a badge indicating that they are PwD adults. So guest also understands, and we don't see any issue in that particular area. But important is role mapping. Ki what role they can perform. If they are unable to, say for example, a particular role can be done only by, say in terms of cooking. I have, a gentleman sitting here, he is a chef. He cooks such a good this thing. But maybe I cannot have somebody who's on a wheelchair in a kitchen department. So then what type of disabilities I can have and what role they can perform. So that exercise we have done in certain departments. It is yet to be done in other departments. I also got to know through Elrin that there is a body all over India. I'm forgetting the name, SC, something he mentioned. Elrin, you're there? No, he's not there. So there is a body who's already done this exercise. They have listed all types of, for all industries, what type of role and responsibilities a PWD can perform. We just have to follow that. So,
I think I'll add to what Hemji has been talking about. When we are talking about roles, responsibilities, and matching them with what an employer would love to have, I think the teachers are the best judges because they do this exercise all throughout. There are different levels of disabilities, and based on that, they have a special curriculum for those disabilities. And I think, and they do that job very well for all that matter. When I talk about the laptops, children are sometimes unable to write. Their micro skills, they don't work. Holding a pen or holding a pencil takes almost about 6 months. But if you give them a laptop, yes, they take a little bit of time, and you get the letters so precisely well, better than the handwriting can do. And they do it for themselves. So we have set in our Sanjay Center for Special at Kursharev 5 laptops, and the teachers are today teaching on the laptops. You'll feel amazed at what the children are doing with the laptops. In a regular school, you won't find that. But here you find it because that's the way they learn. So teach them the way they learn. So we have introduced a lot of things that are needed for them to take in the knowledge, translate that knowledge into a skill, and then finally see where the employer can put me in what slot that I can perform. When it comes to competency, what you were talking about, one side is the customer, and the other side is the competency that you have put in now on the job. The customer is going to shout and yell if it is not done in those 5 minutes or 7 minutes. And you have somebody who is not competent enough. That is what the issue is going to be, and that's the question that you have raised. Let me tell you, when the teachers are teaching, they teach them each and every task, a discrete task. My son learned to button a shirt in 2 months. But if I'm buttoning my shirt and one button is gone higher up, he said, Dada, you don't know to button your shirt. And he teaches me how I have to do it. Because the teacher has taught him from the top button to the top button in match, and then don't miss a single button going into the single button common hole. Same thing with his pants. How he should be wearing the pants is being shown to him. So when I dress myself, he sees me and he says, that's not the way that you should be dressing your pant. No, I'm going to teach you. So he's become a teacher to his father. So when you talk about competencies as adults, we lose on some of the very important tasks that are being required to perform. I went one day and I did not slam my door of my car. He saw it. The next minute he went on to the landline, he dialed my number and is telling me, Dada, your door on your driver's side is open. And my wife said, why did you go on the phone? Dada is gone without slamming his door. It is not safe for him. So everything that is being taught to him by the teacher, he wants all of us to follow. My daughter, I told her one day, get me my mobile, and she just pulled it out, yanked it away from the charger, and brought it out. He's telling her, Jolene, no, you put the switch off first, and then you remove the mobile. Now you tell me who is competent. So it depends upon how you teach them the task. You teach them the task, they are better at it. They will do it exactly the way you teach, or the teacher is at fault. But they do it the way the teacher teaches them, unbeatably superb and well.
So Shyamji, since you are the tech guy on this particular panel, I'll ask this next question to you. So we have now seen the sort of competencies that are required versus what the organizations are doing to make the organizations more inclusive, right? What role can technology probably play in sort of lessening the gap that exists now between the organizations being more inclusive versus the skill sets that are being demanded more and more by the sectors or by the industries at large?
See, first of all, see, industries and the technology both have, equal requirement. I could say, let me figure it out. I'm just trying to frame in such a way. Let me put it in this way. See, every child, every student or the resource is having their own abilities, have their own inherent skills. So what technology can be done, as Dr. Jorson said, the competencies has to be, to build the competency and the be skilled, the teachers has to be teach them in a certain way. Okay, how about it recorded in a system, and where the system have a track of every child, understanding himself about their competencies, about the skills, what they have learned. And imagine thousands of students across, as earlier Hemant ji said, across the geographical level. Here the people of 18 years age group may be different in other place. The people who are not able to, they are, dumb or mute students. So mute students of Goa and mute students of Bangalore or the other places are entirely different. So where the system is going to build a kind of capacity to store of all the kind of competencies and the skill sets, and where Disha A comes and have a kind of repository of inherent skills of each individual and match that to the in the competencies which as a geographical level of all the categories, then the algorithm works and differentiator bring in. So technology has a kind of I can say the capabilities, but it takes a long time. It requires a lot of close monitor system and a lot of efforts here, because it is, once we are pioneering something new, it is entirely takes some time for us. So probably certain of my frames may not be concrete because there is no such examples which exist currently from my side as well. So I'm not able to share your kind of to grab your attention at this point in time. But yeah, identifying the inherent skills, understand the competencies of each individual of each categories from the schools, and make it a frame, build a skill matrix and match that with the algorithm and use AI, and it will definitely give a predictive analytics or the predictive analysis as well. How a child from 11th grade to 12th grade is transforming. How a child from 10th, 11th and 12th, okay, after 12th, which role he can focus on. As teacher has to come to hotel and monitor. How many teachers can do that? If a technology comes into the picture of having all the data points, it is just plug and play. But it will take some time. That is what we are currently building on that.
In that case, is it safe to say that once your LLM gets deployed as a mainstream LLM, that would help in building a sort of framework that can be adopted across India as well as across the globe, that will help in bridging this gap that we've been talking about from campus to career?
Certainly. We have seen, examples here. There are big firms, as he said, has rightly said to IHCL. As a person, he is not having an accessibility to book a hotel. Obviously, that's a clear-cut scope across the world. There may be some certain people, some industries or some companies might have doing, but it is not been globally addressed. And I really appreciate at this point where IHCL has taken an initiative to come up with this kind of initiative, which is going to be a torchbearer for the entire world of this kind of group. Certainly my support is there with you guys all the time. Thank you.
We have a lot of parents here in the audience today, and I am sure a lot of you would be sort of, if not anxious, maybe wondering how can your ward proceed forward. I mean, what should be the ideal career that they should get into, whether they should get into an organization like IHCL, adopt, a more mainstream sort of a career, or maybe they can sort of take the leaf out of Mr. Ankur's book and get into an entrepreneurial journey. So in that case, Ankurji, if you can share with us a small story about your entrepreneurial journey and why did you choose an entrepreneurship over a normal day job, if I can say.
Okay, so the story is actually, can you hear me? Hello? Is it gone? Hello? Yes. So I get this question a lot, like why entrepreneurship, why not a job, right? Actually, I had an offer from Tata Consultancy Services, okay, after I did my master's, and the package was a pretty hefty package. I didn't tell this at home for a long, long time, right? I actually rejected that offer to start my own company. And it could have been a crazy decision. It could have been a decision that I could have regretted. But let me tell you something. I'm a Gemini myself. I'm born in June. I'm a Gemini. I find it very difficult, to work for someone, right? So I find it much easier to build a team, to build something, to lead something, rather than, to follow. That does not mean everybody else should be doing this, right? Because entrepreneurship is one of the hardest things you'll ever do in your life. If there are any entrepreneurs in the crowd or anybody out there, they'll tell you this is probably the hardest thing you'll ever do, right? So getting a job or doing a job is not a bad thing. Let me get that right, okay? For me, for my personality, entrepreneurship was a good choice. And that good choice, I can tell you today that it's a good choice. Maybe 4 or 5 years back, if it asked me, probably the answer would have been different. But I choose a leap of faith. But to be a good entrepreneur, you need to have certain skills. Like, there have been a discussion about skill set, etc., right? So I'd like to touch upon that as well. And when it comes to skills, there are two kinds of skills. There are hard skills, there are soft skills. I think we all know this, right? Hard skills are the ones that you can pick up from like a school or a college or whatever, which give you like specific skill sets, right? But I think if you are going to become an entrepreneur, or if you're going to work in hospitality or any industry for that matter, you're a person with disability, you're not a person with disability, doesn't matter. You need to develop some very important soft skills. And I think Hemant will also agree with me here, is in hospitality, you have to deal with other people, right? And to deal with people, you need to be a good communicator. You need to have a good body language. Like Dr. Jorson said, his son, being very particular about how they dress, etc. Very important skill. And a lot of schools, a lot of colleges, a lot of institutions don't focus on soft skills. They are completely focused on hard skills. So you need those skills. And to succeed as an entrepreneur, you definitely need more soft skills than hard skills, is what I would say. For me, my values, my core values, and I ask this question to everyone before they choose a career, what are your core values? What are the things that drive you? What are the things that make you happy? What are the things that you don't like to do? You need to take all of that into consideration. My top 3 values are freedom, integrity, and impact. And I feel these 3 core values, I get maximum optimization of these 3 core values in entrepreneurship, probably not in a job. If your core values are different, for example, you're a teacher, right? So Hemant ji is in a management role. Someone else is in some other capacity here, right? So what are your core values that will drive what you will enjoy, what you will not enjoy, and that's what people should choose when they are making a career choice, is what I feel. So entrepreneurship is something that aligns with my values, that's why I chose it. Should not be everybody that says, I want to be an entrepreneur or something else. Doing a job to the best of your ability is what matters. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ankurji. So Hemantji, just posing the last question to you. Just last question to you in that case, because Elrin has been saying that we have another 5 to 10 minutes to wrap up the discussion. Once your ABLE lab takes off, this initiative that IHCL has adopted, one, it's sort of become mainstreams. You achieve the set objectives or the mission that you started this particular initiative. What then? Where do you see this particular initiative progressing, say, another 5 to 10 years down the line?
So, as I mentioned, Goa is a pilot, and all these initiatives that we are driving, we definitely want to take it across India and international. I'm not pretty sure because there are different laws applicable and we have to be very careful. But in India, we would like to implement this, which will definitely take time because the most important and difficult task is sensitization, which is not a one-time activity. It will keep happening, requires to do it on a regular basis. Say, for example, when the new set of employees join, it has to be part of our Taj Swagat, which is an induction program of 3 days. It's a continuous process. My next thing because right now what is happening is, most of them, I would say 90 to 95% of the PWD adults that we are considering are at entry level. They cannot remain at entry level. So next step would be, how do we make their career? Because this is not a job. We are not offering them a job. We want to make a career. So to make a career, I need to then look into enhancing their skills. I will definitely come to Shyam for more. By that time, it will be a well-established platform where we can use technology and see that how they can grow. And I need to have a lot of vivid examples of people at better positions, leading teams, managing a hotel run by a PWD adult who has grown, from an entry level to that. That is something would be probably, I would say, the dream achieved.
Wonderful dream. So with this, we come to an end for the discussion for today. Just before we formally end the session, I request all the panelists to kindly share a few words of wisdom for the aspiring people who are here with us, either online or offline. If we could start with you, Ankurji.
This is for the people who are looking for a, like...
Yes. This is for the aspirants who are here with us.
Okay, so someone wants to start a career.
Yes.
Okay, sure. So, like I said, I'll just quickly summarize whatever I said, right? So, first thing is, you need to be absolutely sure what you want to do. Like Hemant also said, hospitality may look fancy from the outside, but then there are the realities of the job, etc., right? So, do you want to really make a career in any one field? You need to decide first that, right? Second is, develop the right skills. For any kind of a job to be successful, you need to have the right hard skills as well as soft skills. Very, very important. Okay. Also find out what drives you, your core values. This may not be possible at a very young age, but as you grow up, you get to understand what really, makes you tick or what really drives you, right? So these are very important things that you need to understand right at the start to have a good career. Second is, dream big. Like Hemantji said, we could have someday a person with disability in a very high position in the hospitality sector. We have a lot of persons with disabilities working in very high positions in other sectors, sir. Yeah, even in hospitality, there could be examples. I can't get anything out of the top of my head right now, but there are in other sectors. So these are the people who have faced so many barriers, so many challenges, but they never gave up, right? So that is something we need to all develop, a mindset of never giving up, resilience, dreaming big, but starting small. Like Hemantji said, start at entry level, but then, you can definitely with hard work, with a lot of upgradation, skill development, etc. And with the right people around you, you can go far. So that would be my, about 50 paisa of advice. Yeah?
Yeah, I would say only one. You just follow your passion. That's it. And you have to do extreme to your passion. You will definitely achieve big. Dreaming big, achieve big, as Abdul Kalam ji said. We always say like dreams you should achieve, dream I should achieve. That is what Disha says. Dreams I should achieve. And we always tell, follow your passion and make your passion to your profession. And rest will take care. Don't divide passion is something and profession is something. No. So when you convert your passion to your profession, you will achieve a lot of things and heights. That's it from my side.
Well, from me, for all of you, we believe today, and the world talks about what is called a DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And today, to add to that is the belongingness. IHCL has extended their arms, asking all those adult PwDs to join into that mission. And when we talk about goals, we always talk about measurable goals, which the teachers do. Achievable goal, based on their percentage of disability, they set the goals, what is achievable for them. The last two are very important because we are not following the SMART formula. The third one is challenging. IHCL has taken this challenge to take the children and to take all adults with PwDs to a higher level. So until we share, the last one is share. So measurable, achievable, challenging, and shared goals, IHCL is going to make it possible for all of us to look into a world that we are dreaming for. Thank you.
So I think so, they have said everything. I would only say one thing. Be competitive. Do not think that there is some, कमियां है मुझ में, किसी में नहीं है. You are equal. You have to be competitive because at the end, after certain time, you will be treated equally with others and you have to grow. We will give you the platform, but you will have to make it a point that the management says that you are deserving person for that particular position. That lies within you. We can only, technology can give you a platform, we can give a platform, teachers can teach you, but at the end, it's up to you. Passion, like what Shyam said, all these things has to come from your end. And we are always there to support you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much to all our panelists. The insights that you have shared with us today, I am pretty sure the audience here would have enjoyed the discussion. Elvin, can we open the panel for question answers? Okay. Okay, so with this we come to the end of this panel discussion. Thank you so much for being here and for being such avid listeners. Thank you all.
What we have here today is not just an insight, it's a direction. It is the future of inclusive hospitality, and IHCL Goa is proud to be leading it. Before we move into the closing, we would like to take a moment to honor the individuals who have contributed immensely to today's dialogue. This token, rooted in the principles of Patya, represents the seeds of change. It signifies that each of our dignitaries is catalyst and growth initiator, helping to cultivate a legacy of accessible opportunity across the hospitality sector. It signifies that each of our dignitaries is a growth initiator, helping shape the future of accessibility. I would now like to invite the IHCL leadership to come forward and present these symbolic tokens. Teacher Benita Mirinda, our Indian Sign Language interpreter for today. Dr. Aanchal Singh, Assistant Professor, IBF Member Center for Social Sensitivity and Action, Goa Institute of Management. Dr. Jorson Fernandes, MBBS Parent and Disability Advocate. Mr. Ankur Kankonkar, Founder, Analytic and Incluseer. Mr. Shyam Ivaturi, Co-Founder, Disha AI. Thank you everyone for your kind presence. Now we would like to close the session.
Not to forget, we request Mr. Elrin Fernandes to come forward. Thank you, Elrin, for all the efforts that you've put in, and you've been assisting us all this way, and we look forward to your support as always. Thank you so much. Yes. Team, a big round of applause to Sonia. She's put a lot of hard work to be standing here and speaking today. She deserves a huge round of applause. Completed her course. Yesterday only she got her certificate. It's a diploma in computer applications. She's also scored a first class.
As we mark the International Day of Person with Disability, we are not merely observing a date in the calendar. We are pausing to reflect on very soul of our organization. We gather here at Taj Cidade De Goa to celebrate something far more enduring than a single initiative. We honor a fundamental truth. Excellence comes in many forms, and every individual possesses unique strengths waiting to be realized. At Taj Cidade De Goa, the ABLE framework empowering every ability is not a program we run. It is what we are. It is the very essence of the soul which we are known for. Our goal is to create a workplace where there is not only a metric that matters is potential, where everyone regardless of visible or invisible challenges is valued, supported and given the runway to thrive. Inclusion is an annual event. It is a daily discipline. ABLE embodies the discipline in how we design our spaces, how we train our teams, and how we treat one another when no one is watching us. It challenges us to look beyond limitations to find the person and pass the challenge to discover the capability. This philosophy aligns seamlessly with the IHCL's vision to lead the global hospitality industry, not only in number but in the real sense and in values. Here at Taj Cidade De Goa, each of you is a custodian of this vision. By embracing the ABLE, you ensure that our action reflects the very essence what we are, that is Tajness, that defines us, a spirit of warmth, a care and genuine respect. While our visual identity for ABLE uses the colors to represent accessibility, equality and pride, The true definition of this concept is written in your action, in the dignity we uphold and in the barriers we break. Our interaction at the time. Empowering every ability is more than a theme. It is an invitation to each one of us. I invite you to lead with empathy, build with attention, recognize that our organization achieves true excellence only when everyone has a chance to contribute. Let us ensure Taj Cidade De Goa remains a beacon of compassion and sensitivity. Let us foster a culture where differences are not just accommodated but celebrated. Thank you.